Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm going to turn my volume up. I'm one of these people that has everything turned down very low. This is Julie Nelson of Rich Witch Magic. And for those of you that know me, hi, welcome back. And in today's podcast, I've got my beautiful friend. She was my coach and mentor at one point, Vanessa Talbot. And I'm going to actually hand it over to her because I'll probably fuck it up when I introduce her because I do that all the time. Go right ahead. Actually, we're going to tell you about Skool later on as well, but we're going to get into some juicy numerology and have some fun.
So, as Julie said, I have been her coach as well before, and basically that's who I work with. I work with women on a mission, women who, as a coach, to help them rise their luminous and very lucrative empires.
Yeah.
So, I love to work with empire builders who have a big mission, as you do, Julie, to get out and make wonderful, wonderful things happen within the world for
Yeah.
both yourself and others. I'm also a tarot reader too, which I've
Mm.
read tarot for. Oh, I don't want to tell my age, but over 40 years. I have been a professional tarot reader as well. So that's what I do between the two of them,
Yeah.
in a nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah. And always remember that I will put Vanessa's details in the bottom of the or below, what do you call it now? I've forgotten, in the show notes. And so you'll be able to connect in with her and join her school community. And if you wish to work with her, I will say she is amazing because that's what I believe and that's what I know. Because I'm fucking amazing, really, frankly. I'm in a playful mood today.
You gave me a testimonial once. I was the best coach you ever had, so I'm
There
sticking
you
with
go.
that.
Absolutely. And it's true. It's true. And I haven't had another coach since. So yeah, very good. But let's get into some of this numerology. I
Mhm.
know a tiny little bit about numerology because of astrology, and I do love numbers. Like I know my life path number and my yearly number. I usually check, and I have checked, but I can't remember what it is because I do find it fascinating.
Mhm.
And I can align them because I do astrology readings, my fragrant oracle readings, amongst everything else, because I weave all of that into my magic and my perfumery as well. And this is what Vanessa is now doing in her business with her clients. And we're both people that work with archetypal energies differently in some ways. We've worked with the same teachings of Carol and Miss, but
Yeah.
over the years, I've actually kind of changed it a little bit, which is what happens. Um, so, how do you want to do this?
Let's just jump into sacred numbers. So, as Julie mentioned, numerology, but just like Julie changes things around, I've taken good old numerology as such to some degree. And after years and years and years of working and studying the individual ways that, women on a mission, women with businesses like yourself and the many, many other people that I've worked with, noticing there's patterns in certain type of people. People
Mm-hmm.
work in
Mm-hmm.
different ways. And so I developed, I'd look at your life path number and then look at how we apply that with the way that you work in business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
where sacred numbers is really, really applied to. It's applied to your business because we can't go into business and just follow some cookie cutter thing. And then we wonder why things aren't flowing, things aren't working for us. It just feels right or wrong. You feel like you're pushing uphill. And it's because you're following someone else's, let's just say, sort of celestial
What worked for them.
footprint. Yeah, and what works for them.
Can I say something on that? That is one of the things that I loved the most about working with Vanessa. She saw me for me.
Mm.
So it wasn't, a lot of coaches, as you say, they're cookie cutters. And I see it all the time. I've experienced it. Fucking spent thousands and thousands of dollars, which I won't do anymore. But I've been in business for too long to do that now anyway. And but Vanessa sees you as an individual, as who you are and what you want to bring into the world. She
Yep.
has her, you have your key structures and
Yep.
things, but you don't go, this is what you have to do because this is what worked for me. You look at our business, our clients, our personality, and that's what I love. I hope I articulated that
You
correctly
did. You did
because,
it
yeah.
perfectly. So when I look at what I call sacred numbers, now sacred numbers is sort of my system to get into individuals. And I mean, it's not the be all and end all, but it's one of our beginning places to go in and see what the right pathway for your business, whether it be a coaching business or a what I call a soul rising business. So when I
Uh-huh.
say a soul rising business, it's not just that it feels good for you, it feels good for the others that you're working with as
Oh,
well. So,
absolutely.
if you identify that you've got a soul rising business, it means because you are rising others in some way, which is the work that you're doing as well. So I
Yeah.
see us as soul risers. What we're doing is working with individuals, rising individuals and rising en masse.
Yeah,
Mm.
and for me, it's especially women where it's like taking them, showing them, leading them, guiding them. I don't even know what the right word is anymore, helping them, supporting them without disempowering them to fucking step up and rise, like looking at
Yeah.
their power, owning their power, and trusting themselves to be who they are and to work the way that works for them. And
Mm.
that's what I loved. Like, not once did you ever try to tell me that I needed to do certain things with my perfumery and all of that, like everybody used to
No,
say.
we had to look
No.
at what you felt. I'm a strategist at base.
Mm, mm,
So I've got a lot of business knowledge. We won't go a lot into that, but I've made stacked the
yeah,
money in the past. I've had massive businesses. And so
yeah.
at the end of the day, I know business, I know strategy, but I'm also, as as you are too, very tapped in, tuned in as well. So
Turned
when
on.
we pull that together, and with my business, let's say smarts, my business strategy, and then knowing how you feel in tune, because there's no point doing crap in business and feeling unhappy and crappy about it.
If it doesn't
It
work, it
won't,
doesn't work.
it won't
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, always, I know we're going off track here, but I always do in my podcast. We'll come back to numbers in a minute.
Mm.
Because one of the biggest fucking things that used to annoy me was people, coaches used to say, you've got to get your perfumes into David Jones and this and that. And I went, no, I
But
don't.
you never wanted to do that. It
I've
wasn't right for
never
you.
wanted to do that. And not only that, and just in case anybody doesn't know this, even if a perfume and it's natural and botanical and organic, which means shit these days, they have to have by law a certain amount of synthetic preservative.
Oh, I
And
did
there
not
is
know that.
no such thing as pure natural on a shop shelf. There just isn't in any product. So keep that in mind.
That's interesting.
And that really gets up my nose
Mm.
because I'm a clinical aromatherapist of over 30 years. I've worked a lot with natural health in life-threatening conditions, and that's what led me to the perfumery for the psychological
Yeah.
and emotional.
Mm.
Anyway, let's get back to numbers.
Yeah, so numbers. So instead of following let me just talk with coaches because that's generally who I work with, but
Hmm.
anyone who's working on your own, as I said, luminous, lucrative empires, like you want to shine within your business, you want to do good for the world and for yourself, and importantly also, because a lot of soulpreneurs forget this aspect and they think it's bad, and it's not.
No, it's
You want
not.
to make money.
If, especially in this day and time, if we don't make money, we're pretty much fucked,
Yeah.
really. Look at the
So
economy of what's going on right
So
now.
it's very important for me to have women. I work mainly with women, by the way, as well. Yeah, I don't know. I've had men clients, but I think just the way that I am and my branding and that it just works better with women anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the story. So the aim is
Excuse me.
to find the correct sort of coaching pathway, or let's say business building pathway that you can follow. And
Mm.
clearly, when we can individually work and make your own little deviations within it, but the blueprint, so to speak, that works best for you. And how we work that out, and this is sacred numbers for your coaching pathway. And how we work that out is very simple. It's just your birth date added up. So for me, I'm the 12th of September, 1965. And when I add each number up individually, so it's not 12 plus 9 plus 1965. No, it's 1 plus 2. This is how I do the sacred numbers.
Yes,
Some people
yes.
do it differently, by the way, I've found
I
out.
know, but
And
there is a
it's
specific
a little
traditional
annoying.
way.
Yeah, but for me, I've found that when I work with people, I do it this way. So 1 plus 2 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 6, 5. And I get to be a 6. So what you do, what's yours, by the way?
I'm a 3.
You're a 3.
A
Okay.
beautiful,
So what
creative 3.
what's the two numbers that you get out at the end?
30/3, because I add up as 30,
So
so
you're
you
30.
drop the
Yeah.
0.
And so if you're something like you add up to say like a 34, clearly you would add those two remaining, the sum of those two numbers up, and you would become a 7. So I hope
Yep.
that makes sense for you. It's just your birthday. It will come most likely to a double digit. And then you add that double digit up, and you've got to get it down to one number. And that becomes your sacred number that we work with for you in business. And what I have found over the many, many years that I've been studying this and looking at individuals is it is so on the mark all the time. So we'll go into each of the numbers. You can ask me any. You're a 3, so we might as well, have a look in there, and then we'll tackle some of the others as well.
Yep.
We won't go too in depth, but
No, but we can give
hit
some key
points.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is what works, say, for the 3s works very, very different for, say, our 9s, and especially for me as a 6 as well. So when I work with individuals, when I can tap into what their sacred number is for to build their business pathway, I can work out things like, okay, it's more likely, for example, so a 3, Julie here as a 3. This is what the 3s need. The 3s need creativity
Absolutely.
and expression. So I can't expect a Julie as a 3, and this is, I think where you've reached into a bit of trouble previously with maybe some others. I can't expect Julie to fully embrace a lot of structure. It's not in her.
I hate
It's not in her download, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because as a 3, that's not you. If you're a 3 out there, you're highly creative and you need to express that creativity. And so the 3s are really, really good for a strategy for business building, is obviously utilizing those creative senses and creating, but also the expression has to come in. So you guys are really good with, and you're excellent with your copy. So
Thank you.
writing. So writing, speaking. And so the fact that you're doing a podcast for a 3 actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and also I've got a lot of the air element in me. I'm a Libra with 5, like a stellium in the 8th house. Hello, Scorpio. But so, and I'm an artist too, by the way, and I love to dance. And I love cooking. So I'm highly, super, super highly creative. And it's all about beauty, creating things of beauty, whether it be words, images. I'm big on images, as Vanessa knows too. I'll go down a rabbit hole and forget to come back.
Yep.
Yeah, and because it's so important to me.
Yep.
And I think that's important too, don't you feel, in business? You've got to, if you're doing something that doesn't resonate in your body, mind, and soul, and the core of your essence, don't fucking do it, because you will not be able to go to that, like, I'm so passionate about what I do, and you know this. Like, I live it every day of my life.
Yeah, so you 3s are really good with your creativity. So you'll always have lots of creative ideas. That's how you'll show your passion as well. So if we even look at your Rich Rich Magic School, for example, the artwork, the copy, the way you write, all that stuff reflects the fact that you are this creative, artistic person that is so, so, so common of the threes. Very, very
Yes.
common. Now,
Yes. And I'm very aware of it because
yeah.
I've studied my own numbers.
So most threes are likely to have that in them, or at least the wish for a lot of beautiful expression. And so they take that creativity and that forms part of their expression. So that's really, really important. That's our threes. You guys are great, for doing podcasts, writing books, um, any of that sort of stuff, to get eyes on you as a business
Yeah.
person. You guys do really, really, really
Yeah.
well. There's a lot more, when you dig down
Of
into
course.
it, but that's the surface thing. The one thing I would say, and I'm going to point this out for each number that we look at, there's always a challenge for every number too.
What?
There's one thing that you don't do that well, and that's the same with everyone. So threes, because they are highly creative, can actually do a little bit of shiny object syndrome.
Oh, I'm the first to admit that I
Yeah.
do this. I love it.
Yeah, so because you're creatively driven, it's like jump from this and then jump from that without actually thinking about, perhaps, especially if you're looking at a business for making money, you're just so honed in on the creativity, you stop to think, how do I need to market this to actually make money from it? Because you're too busy creating the next thing because it's always there. So that's very common with the threes.
And what did I say to you? Oh, Jesus, I've got three things going today that I'm doing creatively for the Spell Club and for Rich Witch and something, and the bonus. And it was like, because I do it, because I love doing the graphics and all of that. Something's coming to mind, and if anybody want to um, comment in the comments in this podcast because I have a lot of ear and I've got 5 Libra in the house of Scorpio, and Libra is ruled by Venus.
Hmm.
And that is all about that it's the beautiful mind.
Hmm.
And so that kind of for me aligns. And I would be, because I've not looked at this, and not that I need another thing to look at, but now I'm getting more curious in this conversation, is that we
Yeah,
might
and
have a bit
so
of a play with the astrology and numbers and
So what will happen? So I know another three at the moment. So the other three I know is a guy. He's very spiritual guy and extremely, extremely of, high intelligence and everything. And he focuses a lot, like you, on the creativity side. And but he spends a lot of time running around in circles on the same thing because the
ah.
implementing it is really hard to do. So we create, 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 and then we'll jump to the next thing and create, create, create. But the actual then implementing it so you can send it out there into the world. And so his is slightly different again. And that happens for him. And even though you're both the number three, I would dare to say that your astrologies will be slightly different. So
Yes, they will.
so this starts to then
Yeah.
start to individualize it, which of course we won't go down the rabbit hole there now.
No.
But if I know that my Julie three compared to my male three, I've got to work then individually with the fact that they are a three. This is what works well. But he's like you.
It's like every sun sign, every perfume,
Yeah.
every there is a uniqueness.
That's right. So we start as your sacred number is your foundation and follow that. And then you start to really look at the individual aspects of you. But just like you, my man three, he is
My man three.
spectacular. He's not my man, but my
No,
male
I know, but it sounded funny. My man three.
he is the most wonderful speaker I have ever come across. And one thing he needs to be doing for his business is standing on stages because he is
Do I
magnetizing.
know him? I won't say
You
his name.
absolutely do.
Yeah, I thought I did.
Yeah,
I know
and he
who
is the
you
same as you. He's a three, but you can
Mm.
see yourself in him, but you can also see your differences,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But if there's one thing that person needs to be, and that is on stage, because when he is on stage and when he is talking, people get spellbound. Yet the ability to actually implement, then say, give me a sale, is much more difficult.
I'm much better at that now. I never used to be, but I've grown into that.
And
Yeah.
what's really interesting, going to another number, and they are an extension of the three, but they have one different aspect to them. So if you happen to be a 5, you are very, very similar to a 3. So you're really good with creativity and you're really good with expression. So if you're not finding ways to be creative and expressed in your business, whether it's writing your book or writing articles or doing podcasts like this or doing lives or any way like that to get your message out. So the threes are almost like divine messages in some way. But
Like a trine,
yeah, so the
which is
threes,
good.
yeah, so
Very powerful.
the threes are like the messenger, like, but they're creative in that as well. And then when you hit the fives, they have all that in them, but one extra scenario that the fives have to deal with. And that makes them even more difficult to pin down.
Uh-huh.
And that is they are the freedom seekers and the adventurers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might look at yourself and say, oh, yeah, I've got that in me
I'm all
too.
about freedom.
And that's not unlikely, but when we take it to the five, it's even next level.
Yeah.
And so, what should they be doing business? Well, they should be offering lots of things, not just one thing, because they're going to get bored very, very quickly. You won't get bored quite so quickly. As long as it's beautiful for you and you have fun creating, you'll be okay. But with the fives,
Excuse me.
it's like they'll have to come up and offer something new every year because I don't want to run that program again next year because I'm bored, it's done, it's dusted, I want something else. So they're always on the move. And one of the things that they should be doing with their adventure seeking as well is perhaps holding things like, events and conferences and retreats and all that, where they get to get out of their normal surroundings and get to take their people. Because one of the things is that your sacred number will attract people a lot of the time like yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the threes will often, they don't realize they're all threes, but the threes and say the fives probably all gather together.
Yep.
They don't realize they're all threes and fives, but they probably
Yep.
are because they're all creating and they're all expressing. And then the fives themselves will say, let's all go off to Morocco and hold a big, week-long party conference where we all, and then they'll all go, yes, and they'll follow. So this adventure seeker is added to the five, which just then takes them to, it's not that they're next level people or next level business, it's just another level that they must add to their business.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not so much the adventurer, I don't think, although I do love adventures.
So do I, but it's not that major
I am
driver.
a freedom speaker. Like freedom is massive for me.
So that's your threes and a fives in a nutshell. Same thing with the fives. If you happen to be a five and you're listening in, your biggest challenge is to stay focused. Focus is not a thing because there's another thing out there to move on to. So again, your biggest problem with actually making money will be around the focus to actually implement and grow because you're too busy jumping from one thing to the other. So that's our threes and the fives. Very similar. Notice they're both odd numbers. But there's a little bit of difference in that aspect. I'm a six.
I love six because it's my birth number and it's always been a good number for me. But it isn't numerologically. I find if I'm in a 6 year, it's good. But yeah.
So I'm a six. Now, oh, by the way, too, I just want to add this. The threes, you guys work better with smaller groups and individuals. Yes. You are
so true.
Yeah, well, the fives, on the other hand, are better with the larger groups.
I like intimacy so that I can
the fives
get
not
really right down into the nuts and bolts.
Fives are better, say having 100 people on the webinar, you're better having 10 people on a webinar.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does to me.
Yeah. So that's the difference between the threes and the fives. Fives also, a five will go on stage and have thousands of people in the audience, but they'll be unhappy with 10 people in the audience. The three, you can go into a beautiful, intimate little room and just be absolutely spellbound and so happy that there's 10 people there to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy if there's 3 people there.
But, so that's the difference.
Because I always look at it too, is then I can individualize. I can direct my attention to each person and really have a connection.
Yes, so you're more, because you're very close
is important to
as
me.
a 3 to the 2, so we'll catch the 2s in a minute. But the 5s are getting closer to going, along the trace a bit. And so they're starting to want more attention, dare I say it.
That's all right.
So more attention. So therefore they need the bigger audiences and they actually do better with the bigger audience. So they can stand on a stage. They don't have to individualize like you want to individualize. The fives don't. They'll want to stand on a stage, have a big audience in front of them, and be able to just speak to the room while you want to speak to the individuals. And that's a difference too, a key difference between threes and fives. So look how it starts to affect the strategy. Now, if I'm a guru coach and I've decided that everyone has to go out there and speak to rooms of thousands, all right, you start going, oh, because you convert speaking to each person as an individual. If you've got to stand out there on stage and suddenly you've got thousands in front of you, your ability can become lessened to convert because you are better.
I'm talking to space.
Yeah, you're talking to space and you don't have that individual to connect with. And so therefore they sent you out on a dummy deal that you've paid money for that's not going to work for you, but they should be speaking to the fives, for example, because they can just go out and speak to the room, but they're so compelling and so magnetic with it that the whole room's going to respond. And it's quite interesting
It is.
see it. Yeah.
Because I used to lecture in my aromatherapy diploma, and the biggest classes I would have would be 60, and the intimacy would get lost there. But I was always really happy too with 30, around 30.
You don't like them when they're big.
No, and well, because I can't connect. It's about
But you can't connect.
And because I'm such a feeling, I'm very kinesthetic and very visual. And so when I used to lecture, I could walk around the classroom and I'd sit on the desk and I'd pass an essential oil over or a strip and go, or show images. And if somebody asked me a question, I could walk up to them and go, okay, let's talk about
the
this.
Fives don't need
and
that.
Start it and then come back like the whole class.
Yeah, so that's a 3. The fives don't need that. The fives are just like, bring it on, give me the masses, and I'll literally convert them en masse while you need that connection. Now, the reason is
I can talk en masse, but not for my business. Does that make sense?
You won't convert as well.
It's not.
I'm not saying you can't do it. You just won't convert as well.
Yeah.
And the reason is the 3 is closer to the 2. Now, the 2s are the balancers and the connectors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone who's a 2 that you happen to be listening and you're a 2,
very Libran.
You guys, you are the great connectors. So you're best with going out networking as a strategy. You, by the way, work best on one-to-one too. So your offerings should be more one-to-one based than group based. And you definitely would struggle to sell, say, courses and that to masses that you don't know, because you're a connector. So that's the most important thing as a 2, is that you are connecting with these individuals. So you are actually really better to sell like higher end coaching that they can pay you really well, and you're really looking after them. Does that?
Yep, absolutely.
So if you were like,
sense to me,
just and charge well, because you are such a connector, you'll give them lots of attention. In some way, the 2s are in some way quite the nurturers as well. So all that, because they are the balancers. So between that sense of nurturing and connecting, you are better with your one-to-one. You can't really go out and push as a 2, push a whole lot of courses onto a cold audience and expect to do really well, because it's going to lack that connection for you, and you're just not even going to like it. You're not going to feel happy. You might be making some money, but you're just not going to feel satisfied in business. And that's the difference there with the 2s. So for you as a 2, just go straight in for good priced one-to-one.
Would you say high end?
High end works really, really well, but obviously if you're not at the level to charge one-to-one,
start where
you're at, where you're comfortable. And this is for anyone in business with a one-to-one, so even if you're a massage therapist, for example, that works really well for you, because you're always getting to connect. I would find, because I'm going to tell you right now.
Money.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, I would never do that sort of,
No.
But for some people, it's their sole purpose. Because it's not made for me, but for them it is. And a lot of the time they're likely to be, I'm not saying you have to be, but it's very likely that you'll be a 2, because you're really, really into that nurturing, soul balancing and connecting. So that's our 2s.
Yes.
And I mean, I've got a very, very good friend that is a 2, and
I love the number two as
Mm.
well.
And the work that she's doing makes is not her calling, and it really unbalances them. When twos, it's very important. Any of the even, this is interesting too. Any of the even numbers, balance is really important for us. I'm a six, so I'm an even
Yes,
number.
yeah,
You guys, not so much. You guys are willing to go here and there and everywhere, and we're like, we
yes,
need to be calm, centered, and balanced. So whether,
yes,
look at that, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then look at you guys, ones, threes, fives, and the
yeah,
balance is not as important
yeah,
as it is for
yeah,
us, which is
yeah.
another thing that's really interesting.
And just before you go on to any other numbers, because it is fascinating, um, if somebody wasn't in business listening to this, they could take these things
For
for
your
their
life,
personal,
absolutely. Yeah.
for your personal life. So
Yeah.
don't think that it's just
No.
for,
You take it into your personal life. So if you are a two and you're not in business, but clearly for you, connection
I
is,
would say relationships
yeah,
would be very
relationships.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know for you and me, in our personal life, relationships are not our number one
No, not a
thing.
priority.
But if you're a two, it is very likely to be
Yeah.
one of your top
Yeah.
priorities, because that one-to-one, that relationship, that connection for a two is very important. So yes, what I'm saying, as much as I'm talking in business, because that is my area of expertise, you can take this and twist it into personal stuff as well.
Yeah, weave it in. I love
Mm.
it. And I know that you haven't gone this far yet, but I will often look at, and as I say, I'm not a numerologist and I don't really
I'm not a numerologist either.
know,
It
but
just absolutely came to me. I started
yeah,
seeing these patterns in you all and
yes.
started to,
That's
it was
what's
incredible.
happened. But I also think so but I like, when I'm with a client, say for perfumery especially or spell work, I actually, because I always get people's birthdates because I'm an
Mm.
astrologer as well. And I have been on the planet a long time, so I do have a few things behind me because people say, "Oh my God, you've done so much." And I go, "Well, I've been
You've
around
been
a
here for a while,
while.
thanks.
I've done a lot." But
Mm.
it actually, because I get really curious as well and bring the archetypes, and it's like, honestly, you can see how they can all weave in together. But it also, especially with perfumery and spell work, when you know these things, you can you can make it more unique to the individual. All of these tools we have, all of them weave magnificently together.
Yeah, well, as you know, talking about that, I also bring in the archetype
Yes.
changes as well. So what are your main archetypes?
I haven't done it for a while, but the last time I did it actually was with you. I was a maverick, and I was either
I'm not
uh,
surprised.
and I was either the alchemist or creative.
Yeah, you also would have, but no, you also would have been the
Sydney?
one who really likes beauty and stuff as well. So
Yep.
you're definitely the maverick slash rebel.
Oh,
You,
I'm a fucking rebel.
yeah,
I just no doubt,
and
but
so
especially
you
well, no
you
business too.
yeah, you would be the alchemist as well, but you would also be what we call the artist. The you called
Oh,
it
that's
creative.
what it was,
The
the
artist.
artist.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was thinking
and
creative, and
and
it was the maverick and the artist, and
yeah,
I thought, oh, yeah,
yeah. So,
makes sense.
we've got this rebel creative here in Julie, and she's also a three, which is creative expression, as well. So you start to see if we had a three like my other bloke, who is an alchemist. He's not a rebel at all. So his three starts to take, he is a alchemist and a sage, while you are an
Ah,
artist and a maverick. So we start to apply that
yeah,
that to his three, and we start to get an individual path for him, which is very different than your three. But
yes,
obviously there's similarities. They're both the same. They both need to express.
yeah. And then you bring the astrology into it, and I can tell
And then
you,
you start
without doubt,
getting
it
even
will
more depth.
be there.
Yeah.
It's I've been doing astrology for 28 years, maybe a bit longer now, because I've probably been saying 28 years for the last 3 or 4 years, because I forget with time. And it still blows my fucking mind. It blows my mind, especially with transits. It, I just, I get speechless sometimes of how incredibly accurate it is. And it's like numbers with what you do and
Yeah. So I
archetypes
said I
and
never started out as a numerologist, and I'm not a numerologist. In fact, I wouldn't tell you anything about it. But I
yeah.
do know about sacred numbers, this thing that I noticed, these patterns in these
Well, that
people according to their birth date
yeah.
when we'd be looking at them. And I actually created this after years of looking at all my clients and working out, say, for example, the ones.
Yeah. Well, can I just say too, before you go into ones, it's not surprising because we've both been in business for a long time.
Mm,
You've had a lot of one-on-one as well in the past,
mm.
and you get to you get like I'm always curious about people like either what is in it, what is their astrology. Oh, they're a geranium essential oil. And usually when you're picking astrology, it's not their sun sign, it's the hardest thing to pick. It's their rising sign because that's how we show up. It's
Mm,
fascinating.
mm. And I would
I
find
love
that,
it.
I might say something that someone else took as great strategy while the other person went,
Yeah.
and I said, but it's a great strategy. It worked. Yeah, but.
I know.
And it was just, yeah, not everything works for everyone. And I really started
That's
to figure
true.
out why. So our ones, for example, if you're a one and you're listening in, you are very much the bold pioneer. You are the one that's out there actually leading.
Hmm.
You're the one that's likely to come up with the new ideas. You're very bold. And one little tip I would give for everyone as a bold leader, as a bold pioneer.
I think that would be Aquarius and Uranus. I mean, they are the rebel, but they are very much the activist, the leader. They want to change the world. Would you put that as a one? No. Yes. No.
I don't know your star signs and that, so
Oh,
astrology is not
okay.
my thing.
Yeah.
I'm letting
No,
you
that's
fill in
why.
the gaps.
Well, I'm just thinking like with those key words because they're the highest realm of the air element.
Yeah.
They look to the future to see what's happening, and then they'll come back and go, okay, we've got to do this. And they're the activist, the
Ones
rebel.
ones are not necessarily a rebel or an activist. That
Okay,
will come.
so
They might be a rebel and activist depending on their
mm,
archetype if they're a maverick like you.
hmm
Okay,
hmm
in my world, because I'll just let everyone know I don't know a thing about astrology. This is Julie's
I get
expertise.
lost in it. Yeah.
Um, but a one will definitely be the pioneer. They're definitely coming up with new ideas all the time. They're not necessarily creative about it though. They're more like the strategist.
Okay.
And they're the pioneer and they're very bold. So how do they work best? They've got to
Could be
lead the pack.
Capricorn.
They have to lead the pack.
Mhm.
Um,
Aries, Capricorn.
yeah, a bit of
Yes.
a warrior as well. So the one thing I'd say to you if you are a one is don't wait for people to ask to do business with you. So a lot of
I
yeah, it's you've got to take that sort of um
initiative.
you've got to take the initiative because people are almost intimidated at times by the one. So they might be waiting there going, oh, I wish I could work with, you know, this one, I wish I could work
Mm.
with this person. I wish I could work with this person,
No,
but
I
I,
think
I
that's a
don't dare, I
Capricorn.
don't dare ask. And so the one needs to not sit back and wait for business or else you will wait forever because they are waiting for you. You are the bold, you are the pioneer to turn to them and say, hey, Jerry, you need to grow your business. You need to work with me. I really believe in what your business is doing. Come chat to me because I choose your business to help you rise.
Yep.
That's a one at work. Now we can't really do that so well.
No.
We're better with waiting. Traditional business is you wait for the client to say, "Hey, I want to sign up or I want to work
Oh
with
my
you."
God, I'm a projector in human design and we wait
Mm.
for people.
But if you're
Although
a
I
one,
don't always.
yeah, but if you're a one, you are better off, say if you've got a program, actually ones don't do great with programs either, by the way. They're best with high-end VIP days, high-end clients. They're very high-end. Ones do exceptionally well with high-end, probably better than the twos because ones aren't nurturers. So they can really attract that higher elite crowd who are there. And so ones do very well with it, very exclusive, um, more intimate, exclusive events, VIP days, high-end clients, that sort of stuff. So that's the one. But if you're a one, don't wait for clients to come to you. You are the one who chooses who you want to work with. I had a story the other day from a one client of mine, and I was kind of getting on her to, get out there and get some clients. And she's busy waiting for people to respond to her. And it's like, you're a one, go ahead. And she came back to me and she said, "Oh my God, I got 2 clients this week." I was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. What did you do?" She said, well, I've been talking to this guy for a while, waiting, giving him all this advice and hoping to hell he's going to see I'm the person for him and that he'll turn around and ask me to work with him. And I ended up just saying to him, "Hey, Jerry, it's about time you and I started working together because I can fix this business for you." And she said, "Let's pick a time and let's get started and I'll send you an invoice." And Jerry went, Jerry was waiting for that moment
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're a one, you're bold. They're not scared of you, but they're almost in awe of you and they're too scared to ask. So you get to choose and you get to ask, and then most of their responses will be, "Oh, I've been waiting for this moment." And this person actually said to her, I've been waiting for you to ask."
Yep.
There's your
Totally.
one at
Yeah.
work. Do not sit back and expect to be clients coming to you. You
Yeah.
are the leader. You say, "I choose you, I choose you, I choose you. Hey, I've got this intimate VIP day happening. We're going to have 5 people in the room. I think you're a perfect match. I think you're a perfect
Love it.
match. I think you're a perfect match."
And oh, that's what I was going to say before. If you went deeper, then you could look at their birth year, and they might be, say, for example, a 3 like me or a 1, but they might be in a 6 year. Then that might be a good indication of where they should focus for that following year. It's birthday to birthday.
It's just a chicken if
The
you hear
chicken
any
of
noises.
yeah, 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 so cute.
I have a house full of animals right now, so there
You
might need
do.
to be some noises and interruptions
I
possibly.
think the animal noises are so
Yeah.
cute. Like legacy.
Yeah, so you can start to see how different your business strategy starts to become. If you
Mm.
want to rise an empire and do very well, but also feel in alignment and not feel out of sorts. So imagine if I said to you, Julie, you've got to go out and with this sort of attitude and say, "Hey, you need to work with me." It's probably not going to work that well.
No, I might think it
Yeah, but
and believe it and know it, but I'm not likely to say that.
yeah, but the ones need to say it because otherwise everyone else isn't too in awe of a one and too scared to step up, thinking actually the other people will be thinking of the one, "I'm not good enough to work with you." So there, where if you go around and say, "Come work with me," they'll be absolutely thrilled that you think that they're good enough to work with you. So
Makes sense.
so that's the ones. They are like our warriors out there. They're bold and they're pioneers. They're the ones that are likely to come up. Like you are very creative with art and all that sort of stuff. They're
I'm
likely,
bold too, but not with business
yeah, but
so
these are the
much.
different aspects coming
Yes.
through in terms of our individuality. But if
Yeah.
just your sacred number, if we just stay at, because that's your foundation in business for me, is the sacred number.
Yeah. It
Then we
makes
layer
so
after
much
that.
sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're a 3. We start there. Okay, Julie, you're creative. You're going to do lots of creative stuff. And also in business, you need to express. So yes, any way you can write, put out books, you use terrific photography, terrific artwork, all this sort of stuff
That's
makes
my
up
Venus too. Yeah.
makes up who you are. And then we start to layer as we start to bring all those other aspects. For example, I don't do too much of it, but if someone's really interested and they really know, as you just said, your human design. Okay, Julie, tell me about your human design and let's layer that into it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I don't know, I don't follow human design because I'm so passionate about astrology. I just know that I'm a projector, and actually I struggle with it because it always says projectors always wait to be invited, and that perhaps was me once when I was much younger, but I don't wait. I'm not afraid to ask now, but that's more in my personal life.
Yeah, but what is interesting is you're a projector, but you're also a rebel a maverick in archetype. So, of course, the maverick is going to reject some of that design aspect
Yes.
of them. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And we are forever evolving and within our essence. And so,
Mm.
as in astrology, and I keep coming back to that, it's 50% astrology and 50% of what life experiences we have and what we've grown up with, what we experience as an adult. So, it's important to look at that for me as well.
Mm.
With the business, like that's on a more personal level, but I definitely I see how powerful this is.
Yeah, it's really good. And so,
I love it.
yeah. And so, yeah,
Excuse
in a
me.
nutshell, I'll just very quickly move through them because I know that we
Yeah.
will be here forever
We
otherwise, because there's so much to talk about. It's such a great subject. But if you're a four, for example, you're really actually really good with structure and stability.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you find
The
yourself
box
rejecting that for
square.
another reason, we're going to look at perhaps your astrology or this or that and see why you're rejecting it. I have had
I
some
would
people.
be in the
Yeah,
astrology
there's a
for
reason why
sure.
you're rejecting it, but you actually are naturally very, very good. And I've actually got a client at the moment who rejected her four, but it was really, she's like, oh, I hate four, I hate being boxed in. And it's not about being boxed at all. It's about offering stability. So you're really good with offering programs that offer a lot of stability and foundational work, for
That's
example.
interesting because I always think of a four as being stuck. So I
No,
love
they're
that.
not. They're really,
That
yeah.
makes, I love that. That's
Mm.
made me like the number four
No,
better.
they're actually actually really cool. They are more likely perhaps to be things like accountants and stuff like that out there in
Mm,
the real world.
yeah.
But in our world, in our world, especially if they're a coach, for example, or solopreneur, who I work with, and you find some people will love their four. They know that they're really good at adding structure. So you're really good with offering step-by-step programs, for example. Again, work with a smaller audience. You're not great because you do have to help people add their own structure. So this particular client I had who rejected the four in her, I said, well, what are you doing as a coach? And what was she doing? Giving everyone their step-by-step programs and setups and everything. And
Oh, that wouldn't have
no,
worked.
there,
I
no, it
get it.
did. No, it
Oh, it
did.
did. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because
Yeah.
she's a four. So she might not have been doing it for herself because she's going, oh, I feel boxed in by structure. And yet what she was selling and was doing well with was selling step by step and
Got you.
implementation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even if you're rejecting it in yourself, know that it's your skill and you can apply it to the service that you offer your clients.
Yeah.
So that's a four, okay? On the downside of a four, we will do one downside. Oh, by the way, if you're a one, your downside is you can just be too much for some people. Okay, we're good with that. We're good with our ones, but for some people, you're intimidating.
Yeah.
And also, you have to be careful as a one not to try to do everything on your own. They tend to be
I
so driven and so fully flooring, they leave everyone behind, and then they do overwhelm
and
and
wonder what's
burnout.
going on.
Yeah, because they're taking on too much because they don't want to drag anyone with them. So that's your one problem. For the four problem, yeah, you can be a stick in the mud.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the
That's
four in a
get
nutshell.
stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get
Yeah.
stuck too comfortable and not want to break out of your shell. The fives we covered, of course. The
Sixes.
sixes are me. Um, sixes are about balance and harmonizing. So we actually
I
are
think we
more.
did that.
No, I've just
Oh.
mentioned I'm a six, but if you are, I didn't say what they were.
Oh.
If
Mm.
you are a six, you're really good with balance and harmonizing. That's essentially who you are as a six, is a balancer and a harmonizer. So your best talent, believe it, when I say to you that your best talent is running reasonably large group programs, because for some way where other people running large programs might not be able to keep everyone's attention or lose people,
Hmm.
or there's the one chaotic person that they can't
Hmm.
manage, and that
Hmm.
chaotic person wrecks the whole energy of the group. I think everyone who's done group programs has
Got to
that.
be able to hold that.
You got to be able to hold it. Guess who can hold it?
A six.
The six. Sixes are absolutely made for group dynamics, because every person in that room they can keep in line and hold in a way that those people don't even realize.
Hmm.
So they never step out of line, and if they do, you're able to deal with it in a way that is not aggressive, not nothing, and just rebalance. You're really good at rebalancing. So that in a nutshell is the six, okay? One thing for the sixes, you may be, you'll be shocked at this one because I am a six.
Tell us,
Your
do.
one downfall may be you may be an overgiver.
Oh, you're so good at not doing
I'm
that.
so good at not
I'm the
doing it.
worst.
Mm. So that won't be in your number. That's going to be in something else. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. We can see Julie coming up with, I've got a bit in this. It's not in a number. And this is where we start to work with the layers. But you start with your foundation of your number. And then when you work with me individually, we're able to add the layers. And then you
Yeah.
come out and you're completely in business in your way, on your own lane. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing.
And that's what I love. Look, I know myself very well too. A lot of people don't.
Don't. No, they
And
don't.
that's the thing.
Mm,
And because, I've been doing so much of this kind of work for over 30 years,
mm.
it's yeah, it's just like and I'm Scorpio, very strong Scorpio energy, even though I've got 5 Libra. It's because it's all in the house of Scorpio. But I go deep. I love like what's all the different layers, whether it's down and it's usually down or up. It's like and being an air sign, information gathering.
Yeah, again, a
So
different aspect,
sorry, I'm
depending on your
banging the
signs and
table.
that it makes a difference. And this is where you
Mm.
start to see the layers in your sacred numbers. For the sevens out there, if at the beginning with Julie and I, and you've worked out your number and you're waiting for me, which I know you will be to say. So the sevens, you guys are our spiritual sages. You're our psychics, you're our intuitors. You'll often be doing the deep, deep, deep spiritual investigation. You're great with mystery schools and all this sort of stuff. Now, that doesn't mean we're not. We love it as well, but we're
Oh,
not
my Scorpio
essentially
shows it. Yeah.
yeah. But if you're a seven, that is almost your life path is to actually go down deep and teach that stuff as well. So sit up, take
Mm.
notice. If you're a seven, and so that is your skill, using your intuitive skills, using any seeking higher knowledge. You're not great with structure or anything like that because you are so deep into that inner and esoteric type world as well. You can be. The downside for you is you can get lost in that and
Yeah,
not live in reality. So
I
that is the
can see
downside for the
that.
sevens. And a lot of the sevens are actually in spiritual communities.
It's very watery element too.
Yes,
It's
yes.
very
I don't think there's
watery.
any earth to a seven at all, actually. But
Yeah,
yeah, they can get lost in it, and that's
yeah.
their problem. They actually lose track of reality and get very, very lost. I've had some seven clients. It takes a little work to get them grounded and on track. So you guys can
So I
kind of
get
fly
that.
off with the fairies a bit too much if you're a seven, and you do need someone that's going to ground you and keep you accountable. So one of the things you should be doing if a seven is joining like a fours accountability program.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's really cool.
So, you might be attracted to other sevens and you might not normally be attracted to a four, for example, but think about what do I need? And you should hop into a fours accountability program because fours are really good, by the way, with offering accountability programs and stick away from being coached by a
I
seven.
love accountability too, by the way.
Yeah, I actually
Work
don't, but
extremely well with
yeah. So
accountability.
that's your sevens, eights. 888 if you're out there. Oh my God, I always wished I was an eight. If there's a number I want to be, it's an
Yeah,
eight
it's a powerful number.
because you guys are our powers. They are incredible. So if we've got the great manifestors out there, it's an eight. Whatever you wish for and desire for, you can create because you have the magnitude. That's a sun. It's a sun. So if you can think
Mm-hmm.
of the sun, they're not the moon, the sevens are the moons, the sun are the eights. So you are all powerful. But this is really interesting, Julie. This is what I found about eights. The vast majority of eights are not able to cope with that power. So they live as an unrealized eight. And
Oh,
therefore, yeah, they're in an
really?
unrealized eight. And therefore, they tend to suffer terribly with not feeling what's the word? It's not lethargic, but they don't trust or believe in their own power. So as an
Yeah.
eight, so that's the biggest downfall for you eight. So an eight who realizes their magnitude and their power and their art of manifestation, you guys are the abundant ones.
So they
We're all
live in their
abundant.
shadow. We are all
We
abundant.
are all abundant,
But
but the eights in particular are able to manifest abundance. When I say manifest abundance, it's not just for yourself. You are the guys that can actually manifest it for all.
yeah,
We need you out there, but so many eights are unrealized and they're almost hiding
I
under the
was just going
shadow.
to say, are they in their shadow? Like,
Absolutely.
because they
Yeah.
that they don't understand that power.
Mm.
And that's very
And
eighth
they
house in astrology too, by the way.
Yeah, and they get scared of it. So if you're an eight, one of the best things you could go do, because you have we all have big jobs in the world, but you at eights in particular have big jobs in the world. If you're an eight and you're in that unrealized power, seriously, get a coach who will work with you to help you find that, or get a healer, or whatever feels right for you. If you need confidence building, get a confidence coach. If you need healing on any traumas or issues that are stopping your eight from shining, get it done. That would be the main thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I would also say get your astrology done by a good astrologer. Hello. But no, there's plenty of people out there. Because it's it's the essence of who you are as well. And then sometimes, because we're not always living in our astrology chart, we can be in complete denial of it. And um so when you understand that too, it can help you to understand your number, because there will be things that are
Absolutely,
interconnected.
it's all layered, it's
It's,
all
yeah,
interconnected. This is why with sacred numbers in business, it gives you the coach, it gives you the business pathway to follow, and then we
yeah.
start to layer depending on all these other elements. And last but not least is our nines. Our nines are the humanitarians, and they are also the transformers. They are the number of transformation. So they are the
Aye.
people at the end of the cycle, and they can turn things around. So they are our world's great
I
humanitarians.
would say that's very Uranus and Aquarius, but also with the transformation, that's quite Plutonian.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
your work in the world will become very much to help people release and to heal and transform. That is your job.
Love
Full
that.
stop. Full stop.
What would their downside be?
With the nines, again, taking on the pressure of wanting to heal the entire world too much,
Oh
and
God,
then
that's
starting
so
to feel
Aquarius
that,
around.
yeah, you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
that pressure of this. It's like me with healing the animals, right? Because you know I'm a great one for
absolutely.
wildlife and animals. And if I feel the pressure of having too much of that task, you just feel overwhelmed, and then you'll just give up.
You
So
crash.
your best is just to choose an area. You're not here to heal the entire world, though your soul will tell you you are,
Yeah, what do you feel passionate about
but just choose one
creating
aspect of
change
it.
with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for me it's about, I want to heal every animal in the world, but that
Me too,
magnitude of that
and
is
nature.
the magnitude of that for me is too much. That is too much to take on. And so if I
Yes.
just say I'm working with my kangaroos and helping them heal, rehab, and live back out in the wild, there's my portion towards that. Now, for a nine, that calling, that humanitarian calling, will be massive. But the downside, the shadow side of it is if you take on too much, you absolutely will then start to, dare I say it, hate the world.
Yeah, I can see that. There's be resentment.
Resentment, yeah, because
Yeah, I can relate to that.
you've tried to take on too much,
Too
but you
much.
you are a transformation, so you do great. If you take away, oh, I need to be a big humanitarian, take that away and just go down here. I'm to help people transform and
Yep,
start a new circle of their life. So you guys actually made excellent healers, excellent coaches, counselors, also those things
that
that
makes
help
sense.
people.
I was kind of
Yeah.
thinking like you're the foundation that can hold things together. Is that kind of
Well,
right?
that you're the one that actually instigates their
Instigate
transformation.
their trend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you'll be
Okay.
naturally
Yeah.
able to look inside their traumas or anything like that, or what's holding them back, and you'll naturally be able to create the transformation for them. So who they are actually very much the alchemists as well in archetypes as well.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They're like that, but
Yeah,
not totally that, but they
because
are.
that's that
Yeah, it's the
transformation. Yeah.
transformation. So for you, if you're a nine, that is your soul role. It's not mine. I'm a six. I'm a balancer and harmony. My job is to create balance, cohesion, and harmonizing in people. And from that place, they're in such a good place, they can clearly go to where they need to. I'm not here to actually heal individuals. So
No.
when someone comes to me, as you know, and they might need healing, not my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Whereas
know
I
where I
I
sit.
love to help
You
people
love
with
to
their
do that.
inner
Yeah,
healing
but
and
for me, with balance and harmony, my job is to get you in such an aligned space
yeah.
in terms of how you know yourself and see your business, that you can just then feel aligned and in flow with your business, because that's my job, balance and harmony. And from that place of alignment, you will start to thrive and build your business. I know my job. I know what I'm good at. I'm not great at someone coming to me with all this trauma and me doing the work with them. I
Yeah.
respect everyone does, because I work with you all.
Yeah,
You're my coaches.
absolutely.
You're the people I work with, so I know what you do. So when everyone knows their lane, that's your foundation. And then when you're working, you can start to, especially when you know yourself, as we know, some people not all know themselves. So you'll be on a wonderful world of discovery. For those of them like
Absolutely.
yourself and me who know ourselves, we can start to add the layers.
Yes, and keep and I do want to say, like, I know myself, but
We keep
if
learning.
I we keep learning, we
Mm,
keep growing, and we keep evolving, and so there's always more to discover.
mm.
It's so fucking powerful.
Yeah. So that
I
is
love
like
it.
that is it in a very, very, we haven't been
Yeah.
short, but each of the numbers, so I've only given you a snippet of them. However, I hope that's enough for you just to sort of see if you are sitting in your number, or if you feel, oh, maybe I need to actually look at my number and start to look at my business slightly
Yeah.
differently and what might work for me. And then let it give you a little starting point to start to, look at things. By the way, the threes and the fives, you guys will always have the most beautiful branding.
Of
No, no,
course.
it is an absolute given. If you're a three or a five, your branding, you will not be happy until your branding is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
Mine's more powerful. It used to be very beautiful,
but
and I
when I
still
mean,
think it is, but it's
but
powerful.
it's still
It
beautiful.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
So
What?
that's where that's so as I said, I know each individual. I know which ones will have crap branding because you don't care about it, and I know which ones will have beautiful branding because you
Yeah.
really care about
Yeah, it's top notch for me. And what I want to say with this, with what Vanessa was saying, is get curious.
it. Mm.
Like, get really curious, and the first thing you can do is work out what your number is. So you have your birth date. So mine is like the 6th, the 10th, 1958. You count you add all of those numbers up together, and that will give you your birth number. If you have two numbers, like say for example, mine came to 30, I take the 30 off to make it a 3.
Mm.
So if it was 29, then that actually comes to an 11, which is a magical, very powerful number. Depending on what you want to do, traditionally it's don't change it, but some people might move it to a 2, and 2 is also that very powerful
Yeah.
magical number.
Can I just add that about the master numbers, the 11 in sacred numbers when I work with
Yeah,
businesses? I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. And it's why I didn't mention it with mine either. So I'm a
couldn't help
six.
it.
I'm a six, but guess what my two numbers are? 33.
33.
Yeah. So sometimes you will find that you are either an 11 and a 22 or a 33. And for some birth dates, you may even end up as a 44. Um, so that is another level that I teach at another thing, because as a 33, I'm a master teacher.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's another whole layer to me, and I really follow that, as you can see, of
Yeah,
being a
and I
master
love the
teacher.
number 33 or
Yeah.
333, probably because I am a 3.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
33s are the
So,
master type number. But if I go back just to the foundation, I mean a master teacher, but if I go back to just the foundation, so our
mm,
11, we just want to have a foundation for getting their business in place,
so
and then we'll
make it a
worry about the
2
11.
and then come.
Make it a 2, because you're 11, you're 22, you're 33, and you're 44 do not affect the foundational setup and pathway of your business.
Great.
That's
Okay.
your extension to it. So as I said, I'm a 33, I'm a master teacher. You know me. I have had and continue to want to have audience of thousands and thousands and
He
thousands,
does.
because
Yeah.
I am a master teacher. So clearly all I want to do is teach.
Yep.
Yep. And of course we've got our 22s and our 11s. And
Yes.
they'll, so
Yeah.
our 11s,
They're the main, yeah,
yeah,
the main
you
master.
will, there are a couple of birth dates will come up as a 44, but they're very few and far between.
Yeah.
But the 11s, the 22s, and the 33s are out there.
Yep.
And we just
Yep.
have that extra layer to add
Mm.
on top. But that's after you just narrow down to
Hit the,
your, yeah.
yeah.
So 11 will be a 2. Forget your 11 right now. I know you're special because you're 11, but just go back to the 2.
Two's very special. It's a power number,
Yeah.
by the way. So this has been pretty juicy for me because I get excited with anything that is like our personality profile.
Hmm.
So
I
now
do too.
it just excites me. And then my brain just starts going and it's like, ooh, and all these different
Because
things that you can bring in.
there's lots of personality profiles out there. Like, we were looking today on My Brilliance World with Myers-Briggs, for
Oh
example.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's all these
to those
personality
ones.
profiles out there, but I think that ours are juicier.
I do too. Look, I don't agree with what mine came up as a Myers-Briggs. I really don't.
Mm,
However, blah blah blah.
mm.
I like what we do. So
Can
if you oh well,
no, you say
I
it.
was going to say if you want to share your number with us and if Vanessa and I can give you a tip or something like that, please do. Or even if you want to share your number or you feel curious about it, as I said, Vanessa's contact details will be in the show notes, as will mine be. And what do you want to say before we sign off?
So if you share your number with us, which is great, but also, Julie, I will give you the link where people can actually download their guide on their sacred numbers. So if you're a 1, for example, you'll be able to read a couple of pages on your 1.
Oh, bloody brilliant.
So yeah, so that you can actually download. So obviously you'll learn a bit more than the little snippets I've given you today. So I'll give you that link to put up. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I'd love to hear in the comments because I'd love to see actually what our numbers
Oh,
are.
yeah. And also, I would, if you feel open enough or bold enough to put your birth number in, then I can say, aha. I mean, not your birth number and that, but your astrology birth time, date, place, and that. And I'll go, okay. And
That's
I
where you
won't look at a
start.
chart. You can come to me if you want your whole
Mm.
chart done. But I can certainly, I'm highly intuitive and it will just come to me like this, or it might be, I'll recommend an essential oil for you. So that's the promise from us. I want to say thank you
Thank you
to
for having me.
Vanessa. I've been staying with her and hanging out with kangaroos and horses and it's been beautiful to go through this. I love this stuff.
Mm.
So,
I just saw the patterns in people, and I just noticed 2 of my clients who are resisting this, who's when I make this suggestion are all in for it. And then I started noticing who was getting overwhelmed in business, who was doing this, who was doing
but
that.
I
There's so
see
many
it,
patterns.
when I'm with people and I go, oh, you're such a sandalwood personality type. I
Yeah,
mean, we're
yeah.
made up of a lot of different oils and different elements, and we live through every star sign. But there's at that time and at that moment, something comes out and you just know it. And so it's like you, and with the amount of clients, like with my lecturing, like literally, I have worked with a couple of thousand people at least. And you get to know these patterns
Yeah, yeah,
and
you see the
it's
patterns
it's
and
just I
and
get really curious.
yeah, and let's face it, neither you or I are new to our areas of business.
No, we're not.
So
We're
we've
not.
been around a long time to actually be able to pick up and see these patterns.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. You can feel it in your bones, witches. You can feel it in your bones. So, thank you. I want to say, come and join Vanessa and I on our Skool communities. Mine is Rich Witch Magic. I will put the links in. And you are the High Priestess Tarot.
That's the tarot group, but the actual coaching group, which is where you'll learn all the stuff in sacred numbers for, I'll give you the link for that one.
Yeah. And
It's only just
also,
starting, so it's very new,
yeah.
everyone. We're just starting that one, so I will give you that one because that's where we'll do the sacred numbers
Yeah,
stuff in there.
but they can start off in your tarot
Oh yeah,
group
you can cut
because,
if you like tarot, you can come to my
yeah,
tarot group.
because Vanessa's only moved over to school recently. I've been
Mm.
there for a little while. We've booted out all the old social media fucking bullshit, toxic.
Bye bye to Facebook.
Yeah, and honestly, I felt like I was almost ready to just stop my business. I could not stand it, and I wasn't. I'd lost my juiciness and not with so much my business, but having to go into that toxic place. I didn't realize how much psychologically it was affecting me. And then a friend of mine introduced me to Skool, and I went and I went, oh my God, this is like, I felt a new vitality within me because it's just fantastic. You don't get the scammers and spammers. I mean, they are around, but Skool are really on it and you get to deal with real people. Anyway, if you're in business, you need to go up and get your own community. And I'll put a link in the notes as well for you to join. Because to set up your own community, you do need to join Schoolers, which is the owners community. Anyway, we will see you in Skool. Absolutely. And Vanessa is setting up a coaching community in Skool, but as we said, she's new to Skool, but she's already loving it as well. And why not tap into the tarot because that has numbers in it as well, and then you can move through it. So we've got to go. Big loves. May you always be in magical bliss. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember to love us up, like, comment, and share. Okie dokies. Bye.